Now, France 24's Chris Moore is following proceedings at the court. Chris, can you tell us a little bit more about the suspect, Jawad Ben Daoud?
Certainly, first of all, a slight delay in proceedings today as one of the co-defendants was held up at a picket line outside his place of detention. French prison guards currently on strike, of course. Proceedings are now underway, and the centre of attention, as you said, very much the now 31-year-old Jawad Ben Daoud. He's from the northern suburbs of Paris, a man with a long history of petty and at times violent crime, who's already served time in jail. This time around, as you say, he stands charged with aiding and abetting terrorists for letting out his flat to 3 people tracked down in the wake of those November the 13th attacks. Among them, the man who's been dubbed really the on-the-ground mastermind of those attacks, Abdelhamid Aboud. Now, Ben Daoud has said, yes, I did let out my flat to these people, but I didn't know much more about them. And really, this trial here in Paris, which is set to last about another 3 weeks, is going to see prosecutors seeking to say that he perhaps knew a little bit more that he's letting on about these 3 people, people who were the subject of a major manhunt in the wake of the attacks, and 2 of whom, according to authorities, were planning a further attack, a suicide attack outside the La Défense business district.
And as you mentioned, there is a lot of attention focused on this trial, presumably because it's the first one related to the November 2015 attacks, but also because Ben Daoud became a very well-known figure in the media. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
That's right, yes, it's been dubbed the trial of the year here in France, and there's certainly an enormous amount of media attention outside the courthouse here in central Paris. Also, as you say, the first trial related to those November the 13th attacks. They're going to be very much back in the headlines over the next few weeks, in theory at least. One of the men arrested after a lengthy manhunt, Salah Abdeslam, also goes in the dock in Brussels the week after next. But as you also said, Jawad Ben Daoud has a special place in the French public imagination, really. He notoriously appeared on television as that raid on his flat was going on, essentially saying, I don't really know what's going on in there or who's involved. And he really became a figure of ridicule on the airwaves, on the internet. He was dubbed Daesh's landlord in what for some French people in the wake of those shocking attacks was a bit of a moment of national catharsis. He's been at a few hearings since his arrest, during which he has lost his temper, insulting some of the people present and saying that he's being unfairly detained and is a victim in all of this. So people here in France will be following whatever comes next very closely.
Indeed, we'll be following that case. Thank you very much, Chris Moore, reporting there from Paris.